You're somewhere you've never been before. Maybe it's a street in a new city. Maybe it's a restaurant you walked into for the first time. Maybe it's a conversation, the exact words, the exact moment, the exact feeling of the air around you. And then it hits. A wave, a certainty, a feeling so specific and so complete that for a few seconds, your brain is absolutely convinced you have lived this exact moment before. You haven't. You know you haven't. But your brain doesn't care what you know. This is déjà vu. And for centuries, people thought it was proof of past lives, psychic abilities, glitches in the simulation, or glimpses of parallel universes. They were wrong. The truth is stranger, more personal, and far more fascinating than any of those explanations. Because déjà vu isn't your brain seeing the future. It's your brain making a very specific kind of mistake. And today, we're going to find out exactly what that mistake is, and why your brain makes it at all. First, how common is this? More common than most people realize. Research estimates that somewhere between 60 and 80% of people have experienced déjà vu at some point in their lives. If you're in a room of 10 people, at least 6 of them know exactly the feeling we're describing. And yet, almost nobody can explain it. Because the experience itself is contradictory at its core. You feel certainty and confusion simultaneously. You feel recognition without memory. You feel like you're remembering something that never happened. That contradiction is the key. Because our brains are not built to feel those two things at the same time. Familiarity and recognition are supposed to come as a package. You recognize something because you remember it. When familiarity arrives without memory to back it up, the brain doesn't know what to do with the signal. The result is that eerie, slightly unsettling feeling. That fraction of a second where reality feels like a copy of itself. Now here's where it gets interesting. Déjà vu doesn't happen randomly. There are patterns, specific types of people, specific situations, specific brain states where it's far more likely to occur. Young adults between 15 and 25 experience it most frequently. People who travel often and encounter new environments regularly report higher rates. Fatigue and stress dramatically increase the likelihood. And people with certain neurological conditions experience a version of déjà vu so intense and so frequent that it becomes overwhelming. That last group, people with temporal lobe epilepsy, gave scientists the first real clue about what déjà vu actually is. Because in their brains, scientists could watch it happen in real time. For most of human history, déjà vu was impossible to study. It arrives without warning, lasts only seconds, and leaves no trace. You can't schedule it. You can't reproduce it on demand. This told scientists something crucial. Déjà vu is not a psychological trick or a philosophical mystery. It is a biological event. It happens in a specific place in the brain, and it can be triggered by specific electrical activity. So neurosurgeon Wilder Penfield, working in the 1950s, tested this directly. During brain surgery on epileptic patients performed while the patients were awake, which is standard practice, he applied small electrical stimulations to different regions of the temporal lobe. When he stimulated certain spots, patients immediately reported feelings of intense familiarity, of having been there before, of living through a memory that wasn't quite a memory. He had manually induced déjà vu with an electrode, until scientists found a way to turn it on with a button. Here's how they discovered this. Patients with temporal lobe epilepsy, a condition where abnormal electrical activity fires in the brain's memory centers, frequently reported intense déjà vu episodes just before their seizures began. Not occasionally. Reliably. Every time before the electrical storm hit, they felt that overwhelming sense of having lived the moment before. The temporal lobe, the brain's memory processing center, was the source. Now the question was, what exactly was going wrong inside it? During déjà vu, two specific regions show unusual activity. The rhinal cortex, which generates the feeling of familiarity, and the hippocampus, which searches for the matching memory. In normal recognition, these two systems fire in sequence. Familiarity first, then memory retrieval to confirm it. In déjà vu, the familiarity signal fires, but the memory retrieval system comes back empty. No matching memory found. Your brain feels like it's remembering something, but it can find no record of what. To understand why this happens, we need to understand something about how your brain processes reality in real time. You experience the world as one seamless stream of consciousness. But behind that seamless stream, your brain is running multiple parallel processing pathways simultaneously, taking the same incoming information and processing it through different neural routes at slightly different speeds. Usually, these pathways sync up perfectly. The signals arrive at consciousness as one unified experience. But sometimes, under fatigue, stress, distraction, or certain neurological conditions, one pathway gets a small head start. The signal reaches consciousness a fraction of a second early. And then the second pathway arrives with the same information, and the brain treats it as a second event rather than a continuation of the first. The result? The brain processes the same moment twice. The first pass creates a faint memory trace. The second pass encounters that trace and triggers the familiarity system. The brain searches for the matching memory, finds the trace from half a second ago, and concludes, incorrectly, that this moment has happened before. You experienced it. Your brain filed it. And then you experienced it again, immediately, and your memory system found the file. Déjà vu is your brain accidentally remembering something that happened half a second ago and interpreting that as the past. This is called the dual processing theory, and it's currently one of the leading explanations. But it's not the only one. And the other theories are equally fascinating, and in some cases, even more unsettling. There are 4 theories competing to explain déjà vu. Each one reveals something different, and none of them cancel each other out. Theory 1, the dual processing delay. Two parallel pathways process the same moment at slightly different speeds. The faster one arrives first and leaves a trace. The slower one finds that trace half a second later, and your brain calls it a memory. Clean, mechanical, testable. Theory 2, familiarity without a source. Your brain has 2 separate recognition systems: familiarity, fast, automatic, a feeling, and recollection, slow, deliberate, a search. In déjà vu, familiarity fires alone. Maybe this coffee shop's layout matches your childhood kitchen. Your brain detects the pattern, but can't surface the memory. Theory 3, the attentional blink. You're slightly distracted. Your brain processes the scene at low attention first. Then your full attention arrives, processes the same scene again, finds the faint trace from 2 seconds ago, and flags it as a memory. You weren't absent. You were just processing in 2 stages. Theory 4, holographic memory overlap. Memory isn't stored as complete records. It's stored as patterns, spatial layouts, light angles, emotional textures. When enough features of the current moment match a past experience, recognition fires, even without a specific memory attached. Your brain recognized a configuration, not a moment. The extraordinary thing, all 4 could be true simultaneously. Déjà vu may not have one cause. It may be the familiarity system misfiring in several different ways, all producing the same 12 seconds of impossible recognition. Your sense of reality is more constructed than it feels. Your brain is not a camera. It is an active interpreter, constantly comparing incoming information against stored patterns, constantly making predictions, constantly finding matches. Déjà vu is what happens when that system makes a false positive. It finds a match that isn't quite there. It triggers recognition without a record. It's not a glitch. It's the cost of a brain sophisticated enough to recognize a friend's face in a crowd from a single glance. That same system occasionally fires on a ghost. Scientists still don't fully agree on the precise mechanism, which means every time it happens to you, you are experiencing one of the brain's real remaining mysteries. Not a past life, something better, a question your brain is still asking itself. Next time déjà vu hits, don't chase the memory. There isn't one to find. Just notice what your brain is doing, pattern matching so fast and so confidently that it convinced itself it remembers something that never happened. That's not a failure. That's the speed of a brain that has learned millions of patterns over a lifetime. Next week, why does music give you chills? There's a neuroscience answer, and it changes how you'll hear every song you love. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you in the next one.